think that way.
Go that way.
When a child born into a black working-class family in the middle of America becomes the most recognized human being on earth, that's a great story. His name is Muhammad Ali, and of his many gifts, the greatest is his power to inspire others to be the greatest they can be. His dream is to share that inspiration with the world. That's a sign that the greatest is yet to come.
I think that the man that I met when I was 6 years old was the most optimistic person I'd ever met. This was a man who loved people. This was a man who felt comfortable in his own skin. He was always a warrior. He was always a fighter. He believed in standing up for what you believed in. He believed in doing good and realized that the gifts that God had given him were to be cherished. They were to be shared. They were to be used for good things. He has said many times that the boxing ring was only his vehicle to do what he is doing now. I think when Muhammad became older, he realized that he had the ability to affect people in certain ways and decided to use these gifts to make this place a better world for all of us.
I called on him when I was president, and when he would go to African countries to promote the concept that America believed in ending apartheid, it made a profound and very good impression on people everywhere.
We can answer each question by saying, in the heart of man. If we were to imagine
His power to touch people in a very warm and loving way brings about that humanity in them. No matter how deeply it may be buried, he touches it.
I think the lesson Muhammad Ali brings to us is that we all live in the one circle of humanity.
Ali's impact is timeless. Over the last 50 years, empowering countless millions to affect change in the world around them and in their own lives. Today, the need for change is even greater, and Ali's story resonates even more deeply. The torch is now passing to a new generation, a new movement, Generation Ali. People just as committed as Ali to work towards social justice and peace, connecting across lines that divide. People working to transform the world into a more compassionate place. Who better to be their champion, to be their inspiration to face challenges that call for greatness within than Muhammad Ali?
the ways of a person, the thoughts, the deeds, the actions, it's all based around his heart. If we were to look at what gives us courage to stand firm in the battlefield of life, what gives us the power to endure all that comes good or bad, it is the heart. People look for miracles, people look for wonders, people expect surprises of all kinds. Yet the greatest wonder, the greatest miracle, the greatest surprise is to be found in one's heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Larry Miller.
Good afternoon. Muhammad Ali was a man of conviction who truly understood what it meant to put his life on the line in and out of the ring. He selflessly gave so much of himself, and he continued to find ways to touch humans regardless of race or color. His life's work was so important because it lifts all of us. Muhammad gave and still gives us faith and hope in humanity. When you think about what it truly means to be a global citizen, you have to think about Muhammad Ali. It's amazing that on the day that someone stole his bike, it set his life up for a sequence of events that would turn him into a global citizen. The events that followed were good and bad. His battles for freedom and human rights were astounding for his day and time, and they're still astounding today. Muhammad's red bike incident was a great lesson on how a single event can drastically change a person's life. Another great lesson is that the officer who took the initiative to guide this young man and help him channel his energy into something positive. As adults, it's our responsibility to pass down information instead of watching young people spiral downhill. It took the officer to decide that young Cassius was worthy of mentoring. And if he hadn't, we maybe wouldn't have had Muhammad Ali. There will never be a greater warrior, a warrior for sport, a warrior for service, and a warrior for peace than the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lonnie Ali.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to the millions of people who have sent their thoughts and prayers in love in every language from every corner of the globe. My family and I are truly grateful and deeply humbled. My husband struggled many years with Parkinson's disease. He had good days and bad days. But even in the most difficult moments, he never allowed the disease to shake his faith or his optimism. Instead, he chose to embrace a spirit of selflessness and kindness and love. A few years ago, he said, when it was time for him to go, to use his life and his death as a teaching moment for young people, for his country, and for the world. That is what he wanted. That was his desire. Muhammad wanted to remind people that even though he had seen the face of injustice and lived through segregation, he refused to give up on his dreams or his desire for a better world for all people. He wanted to remind people that even though he saw his friends, Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King, gunned down, and Nelson Mandela imprisoned, he rejected violence. Muhammad faced federal prosecution. He was stripped of his title and his license to box. He was sentenced to prison. But he wanted to teach the world that you don't have to abandon your principles out of fear. He wanted young people of every background to see his life as proof that adversity cannot rob you of the power to realize your dreams, that adversity can make you stronger, that it can lead to triumph and greatness. Muhammad didn't achieve greatness just on his own. Part of his success was great timing and good people who reached out to him and helped him along the way. My husband grew up in an era of Jim Crow, but he was born into a loving family and to teachers who taught him who cared. When his red bicycle was stolen when he was 12 years old, a white police officer named Joe S.B. Martin handed him the keys to a future in boxing he could scarcely have imagined. America must never forget that when a cop and an inner city kid talk to each other, miracles can happen. It's true. Then an experiment in old money and young talent called the Louisville Sponsoring Group built him a runway to launch his career. Muhammad always remembered what others did for him. And as he took his championship fights to the ends of the earth, From the South Pacific to Europe to the Belgian Congo, the boy from Grand Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky, discovered that the world really wasn't black and white at all. It was filled with many shades of rich colors, languages, and religions. The rich and powerful were drawn to him, but he became drawn to the poor and the forgotten. He fell in love with the masses, and they fell in love with him. In the diversity of people and their faiths, Muhammad saw the presence of God. He was captivated by the work of the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa, and the church workers who gave their lives to protect the poor. Later, even though he was slowed by Parkinson's disease, Muhammad was compelled to use his gifts to support the victims of poverty and strife. He pressed on, whether as a UN messenger of peace to a war-torn Afghanistan, advocating in Europe to reduce the yoke of third world debt, raising funds for scientific research, or intervening in the release of hostages in the Middle East. As his voice grew softer, his message took on greater meaning. He came full circle with the people of his country. At the Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta, he lit a torch that seemed to create a new light. And even though he had once challenged his government, Muhammad never ran from America. He loved this country. He understood the hard choices that are born of freedom. And he knew that a big part of what makes America truly great is our willingness to serve others. I am inspired by that spirit of service and selflessness, and I see it in all of you here today. I see it in this room. I see it in the changemakers who've overcome their own adversity to make someone else's journey just a little bit easier. I see it in the young people who are ready to volunteer their time and their efforts in order to make their country and world a more generous, compassionate, peaceful place to live. Muhammad's spirits rose over these last couple of months as we prepared to be with you here today. He had been looking forward to this event. He often said, "Service is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." The idea of a gift of 75 hours came to me during a conversation about this particular event. Muhammad always asked me, or people would always ask me, what they could do for Muhammad. The man really didn't need anything, but he was so touched by the idea of so many people around the world being willing to celebrate his 75th birthday by dedicating 75 hours of service to others. And he was so proud to see people embracing the 6 core principles that empowered him to change himself and the world. Confidence, a belief in oneself, one's abilities, and one's future. Conviction, a firm belief that gives one the courage to stand behind that belief, despite pressure to do otherwise. Dedication, the act of devoting all of one's energy, effort, and abilities to a certain task. Giving, to present voluntarily without expecting something in return. And respect, esteem for or a sense of the worth of excellence for oneself and for others. And of course, spirituality, a sense of awe and reverence and inner peace, inspired by a connection to all of creation and to that which is greater than oneself. The time has come for all of us to pick up the torch from Muhammad and to shine our own light on the places and the people who have been trapped in the shadows for too long. For as we face uncertainty in the world and the divisions at home, Muhammad's life takes on an even more special meaning that cannot be overlooked. In the face of anger and criticism and ugliness and hate, my husband never gave up on the power of understanding and the boundless possibilities of love and the strength of our diversity. He was friends with people of all political persuasions, saw the truth in all faiths, and the nobility of all races. He believed the soul of a nation could be measured by the goodness of its people, and I see that goodness here in this room. So I asked you to pick up that torch. I asked you to keep that light burning. And in honor of my husband's memory, I asked you to prove that there is Ali in all of us, and find your own greatness in the love and service that you provide to each other and to the world that we wish to see. Thank you very much. Thank you. On September the 17th this year, we will be conducting our 4th annual Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards. These awards were designed to shine the spotlight on outstanding humanitarians from around the world. We give 6 awards all to people under the age of 30 who are making a tremendous difference in the communities throughout the world. Underlying these awards are Muhammad's 6 core principles. It is my honor to introduce to you our award winner for the Principle of Giving from 2015. She is the CEO of Empowerment, the Empowerment Plan here in Detroit, your own Veronica Scott. Please give her a warm welcome. She's awesome.
I want to say thank you, Lonnie. This is a huge, huge honor, and thank you for the Ali Foundation for just having me here. I wouldn't be standing in front of you without them and without the people that created those awards, and it's been an amazing journey. The Empowerment Plan is an organization that hires homeless single parents, and we train them in sewing and manufacturing, and we make these coats that turn into sleeping bags that we give out globally. I'm known as the coat lady. We're known as the coat people. You may have heard of us. We're very proud of the work that we do, and we've actually made over 15,000 coats over the last 4 years and distribute. Thank you. And we haven't just distributed them here and just in Detroit, but we've also given them out across 40 US states, 6 Canadian provinces, New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland, Sweden, Malaysia, South Africa, and France. And all of this has been done by over 30 people back in the office that are all individuals from homeless shelters across the city of Detroit that all have kids. That were hired from shelters and were able to move out of the shelters permanently within the first 4 to 6 weeks of working with us to never return. And they've been able to. And that's something I'm the most proud of. That's what gets me up every morning. That's what I'm so excited to see happen, is to see how we can hire somebody and not just impact them, but their entire family, that it's a generational change. Because Empowerment Plan was a class project in college. I got into college on a scholarship and financial aid because both of my parents were struggling with addiction and unemployment, and we spent our entire lives just moving constantly across the city. And if it wasn't for that scholarship into college, I wouldn't have started the organization. But it was because of them, it was because of my parents and my childhood that inspired what we do at Empowerment Plan. We moving constantly, that was the issue. People looked at my siblings and I as worthless extensions of my parents, that we were bound to end up exactly like them because both of my parents had been struggling with addiction for so many years that they assumed we'd end up the exact same way. And what the thing is for me is that poverty does not define me and will not define me. Homelessness has become a life sentence for people. It has become a life sentence that takes on not just that one person, but lives for generations. And it shouldn't be. It's a moment in time. It's not a defining characteristic. And what's excited for me is that everybody, my entire team back in the office, I'm so proud of them because really so many people pity. So many pity individuals that are coming out of poverty and coming out of homelessness. But frankly, they have gone through more things than most people can possibly imagine and have come out the other side stronger. You should admire them. Frankly, they're badass. I'm very proud of them. This award and everything with the Ali Foundation is really for them and the amazing work that they do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Veronica, before you leave, please stand over here. Veronica, thank you so much for sharing your story. Veronica not only has received this fabulous recognition from the Ali Center, but she's a Daily Point of Light honoree as well. So let's hear for this double recognition. Veronica is a great example of the Ali spirit that is in all of us. And I hope you will join me in thanking Veronica for all that she is doing to help. And she's just a fabulous example of the Ali spirit. Thank you very much, Veronica. Give me a hug. See ya. And Lonnie, your presence here today, your inspiring message, your wisdom, after an extraordinary month, shows your courage and commitment to service. And I can express my own heartfelt thanks, but I'd like to hear this audience give you another round of applause for being here and sharing. Yeah, I didn't mean.
Thank you. Now you got the lights on. Thank you.
What I really love about what Lonnie has challenged us to do, she's allowed us to celebrate the life of Muhammad Ali by getting people, giving our time from ourselves, but getting people to give 75 hours in honor of Muhammad Ali's birthday, which is January 17th, correct?
Correct.
So, and Lonnie, this room is filled with people who have the energy, the network, the connections to activate, to get thousands and thousands of people to honor Muhammad in this way. And I'm so grateful that you've laid out this challenge for us. So everybody, do the best you can to honor this great opportunity. Now, Larry and I both have an amazing opportunity here to bestow an award to Lonnie. Lonnie, in honor of Muhammad, we are privileged to present to you the Daily Point of Light Award number 5,770.
Wow.
This award in this case is bestowed upon those whose impact on our world is at the highest level. And there's no higher impact than the impact that you and Muhammad have made. So please accept this recognition for us.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you, Larry. And thank you.
Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the My Brother's Keeper initiative, please welcome youth from the Youth Development Commission in Detroit. Please welcome these youth. Here they come.
I will continue to go to church, stay motivated, stay dedicated, and continue on my assiduous work ethic every day because there's Ali in me.
I'll strive to be the best that I can be because there's Ali in me.
I will achieve my goals and overcome obstacles to achieve and pursue to get to my dreams because there is Ali in me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please open your envelopes and retrieve your point of light, joining us as we bring light to life in honor of Muhammad Ali. To perform the greatest love of all, written for the 1977 Muhammad Ali biopic, The Greatest. Please welcome Detroit's own Kisma Jordan.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love.
Please join us now in the atrium for the Welcome to Detroit celebration, sponsored by Coca-Cola, followed by the